when that's a good way to exit a lie. So it will stay huge as what.
Yeah.
It just vanishes off the face of the earth, and that hang out a few weeks.
Touch it.
That's the.
Yeah. There we go. So some of you guys are taking the secular things on ally training. But basically, this is going to give you an overview of the facility training, well, it's going to help the implementation process and how you go about doing that. Obviously, I don't expect you to do because you're not university institutions like that anymore. I do want you guys to be clear to know and not only train allies, but also train other leaders, and train other people, and then let people. And also things like welcome. And it's clear here. It should not. It was. Why is the singular state so important? What this means is that secular people in America are people are seen as being in America is seen as the norm, and people who are not just therefore are kind of seen outside of that, and that goes along with all sort of other stigmatizations. This is a great boom in secularism in America today. The people 18 to 20 are now identifying as not being religion or any organized religion. So while Americans is highly normative, we have this rising secular people coming out that they don't infrastructure institutions necessary to do that, like Christian, especially other religions. So the secular system seeks to found those institutions and get those resources out there so that students don't have to go through this alone. We also believe in realizing participation. A study came out in 2009. The author is escaping me now because I like that. But the study showed that if atheists were shown to be present in the community, discrimination against atheists went down remarkably. We took this take it seriously that if we have allies and facilitators out there in more secularism and liberal view, that it can really help people to stop discriminating and hating against atheists and their secular students. And finally, the students' mental health and development in students of college and high school are very middle time psychologically. It's sort of the time to find out how they fit in with our society. It's very important to be different goals in our society, different ideas. And if they can't, it can and lead to all sorts of areas. We lead there for all of these reasons. Yeah, so who can be an ally? Well, anybody can. We believe that while we focus on educators and students we work with, we truly believe that anyone who has any kind of workshop, a bartender, we have leaders, funeral home directors, we have health professionals, religious can be for students today. So when you receive an ally, have these 9 expectations of our ally. Training. This is what we expect of our ally. Will be or managing or anything like that. Kind of helping them be the best allies that they can. So you'll want to be familiar with these. So, number 1, we have awesome secular safe zone signs, but they're very well done, and they expect to put them somewhere in their office, their door, whatever it is, so that people can see it, and ask them about it and get involved. Number 2, that you reviewed and completed training. To be an ally, you have to train the slides, read the resource manual, etc., so that you're familiar with how to help. Number 3 is a new all people policies. So wherever you work, and stuff, so that you don't get us or yourself in trouble. 4, anyone. As an ally, non-religious people, unless they explicitly their parents, to their relationships, to their job, everywhere down the line. You don't know what might happen if accidentally identify somebody as an atheist or even a religious person. 5, provide allies to help these students answer their questions, to give them the support and resources and services they need. We expect that you provide an environment. It's to say that you're on board, but unless you actually go out and provide that environment, it doesn't do much. So number 4 is we take that very seriously. Have as much data on that as we can. Maybe when it does happen. So if it does happen, both report it to us, like your tuition, like I said, where that's where you work. Number 7, never engage in romantic or sexual activities with students. That's also a no-brainer. And number 8 goes along with that. Meets with students only in a professional space or public meeting area. So like a shop, park, somewhere that other people are infrequent, often a public place like that, in an office or faculty or something like that is fine. Parties or things like that. That's kind of weird. Violating, yeah. Finally, if you have any questions immediately, if you're not sure what to do, if you're in a situation you're not really sure about, let us know. We can help you get through it. So, that's all sort of how is the facilitator role. Well, and like I said, these slides are computer pitching them. But the secular safe zone facilitator really has these roles in the program. Institutional program. So facilitators, typically, like I said, you guys are doing this, but typically you go back to their institution before the goal of an institution is that it continues on even after that person. They also provide a program at that university that is kind of the go-to leader type person for allies, for media contacts, for any of that person to take out. So that goes to say also the public face of the program at your institution. You also train, like I said, you can go out and train allies, take your program inside the level on your own, and that's a major role of the facilitator. Your service allies, though, so you're still doing those same things that we talked about earlier, like supporting students, talking to students, looking at what as well. So, we have ally expectations facilitators. Number two, number three, stay up to date with the programs. Revamp our safe zone ally training. So we just ask that you go regularly so that we can get you those new resources and stuff. Number four, train allies in institution, or wherever you're at, if you want to call that your region instead of your institution. Training. Tell us about any changes that you make to the material. It's available on the website. The resource materials, there's a generic sort of student versions of them. And so we need to go out and change these materials. If you come up with something innovative that we haven't thought of, we want to use. But share your changes to the materials, like I said. 7, report on your program. Talk about that entails, how you report the number of allies you trained and the problems you might have and stuff like that. And number 8, contact us with questions. Like I said, this is not going to go everything. I couldn't wanted to. So if you have questions, just let me know. Like I said, we are going to go to you go to www.state paper forms that you need for reporting on your really recommend my training paper to have to sign up there. You've noticed that if you say sign up at the website, one that we all have very busy lives and we have other things that distract us, we forget to. So be sure to print off forms. If you need more, let me say some. And make sure you submit them so that we can get them into the database and we have an accurate number and everything. Other things, just the allocation things like that. Other than that, what worked? Did you notice anything new this time, etc., etc. So this is different from how many people signed up as allies. We want to try to get both numbers if we can. And name. And hopefully one day there will be more of these that I can keep track of, and I will not be able to remember for their whole app. Payment and fees for training. Staff, right? Get paid to do these things. So we do for trainings ever, except for these 2 exceptions. If you're part of a paid conference, and free, do it as low as possible. Facilitators, librarians, but let us know if you do. The training. This is less important for you guys, but so that when you go and do these trainings, you're not like, this, I have no idea how to do this. So one of your region or institution and found me as a growth safe zone program and institutionalizing it at your region or at your institution. Number one is evaluating your ability. There's a lot of factors involved in founding a secular safe zone program. It's you're honestly going to have big trades, national secular alliance, and your allies. Stuff. Unfortunately, like I talked about in the beginning, and we talked about the high school meeting, people face threats to careers because of beliefs, whether political or religious or whatever it might be. So we want to consider fully you're all working movement, so it's not as big a deal for you. But you do want to consider, and have facilities where are they trying to get this best. Also, administrative resistance. This is going to vary from school. So we don't have hardly any administrative resistance. Actually, their administrations are pretty different. Other schools, I can assure you, wouldn't be thrilled to have a secular safe zone program. You know where you're at. You know where you're at. That into account when you administrative resistance might face. One of these factors that are involved, you're going to want to start making your fixes. So what is accomplished by a program institution? Those resources can be very that's a good resource because I have all this. I am the you might know somebody in the secular so that's a really great resource. Grant money you might be able to get if you want to try for that might be a great resource as well. So this information about the fact. So once you finally get all that information, you're going to want to identify a particular zone at your institution. People, especially universities, high schools, all have resources to give out. So they decide need to have some sort of urgent need for action. So how do we do this? We need for I talked about at the beginning some of the how much secularism is growing. The press, some of the statements that show the institutions being campus. All of these any university. But is also really research about the religious breakdown on campus. If you can go to your administration or tell me, hey, look, we have this number of students on no support here. It's going to be a really powerful show the administration that there is a present need for this program on campus. Which is really awesome. You can consider packet that works, tasks. Links, stations, arguments, articles, anything to help the particular really resources that you need to put together really lots I'll get you guys. And like I said, it's custom what are my needs for at school. That's going to tell you how you do something. Maybe your school or to identify as women and men. That's you'll want to put that into your training. Your training to at your institution or region or whatever it may be. Number 3, your primary strategy. So, when you want to become a department and who you want to be part of the department, university, do you want to be, a singer? That's very different research. You're also going to want to consider the depth. Are you going to do online training every year, twice a year? How often is are you going to things? Are you going to do activities on this other than online? Find service projects and things like that with your allies as well. Okay, how I want to go. Finally, finding some sponsoring entities. These are about your policy who helps with the DF LGBTQ organizations, women's rights organizations, of organizations have and will have to help out the school and ask them for help. Similar programs. You want to develop that you've done on your institution. Areas for in front of the website for the school you want to put your advertising. People are going to start asking you a lot of questions. You come to them with an idea, you're going to want to know certain things, especially it costs to the institute. And what are the expectations of sponsoring entities? So, say you do, what are their expectations? What do they want out of it? They want out of it your group at your trainings, something like that. Whatever they want, make sure you have that. Finally, during this stage, contact us here at the national office so that we can help you. Customize your training, everything, get all your ducks in a row so that you're ready to go the administration with everything. So once you go for it, on the planning for continuation of the program, like I said, institutions, looking at these group allies, institutions, not necessarily just they're going to be see these go and really so yeah, these are program all the time. Watch for new facilitators. Facilitators, you have the non-responsible right to train other facilitators who are interested in getting your program started. Who's really motivated, give them let us know. Alright, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how to do it. So what is the purpose of training? Once you get customize your training, when you're doing online trainings, take into account what your needs are going to be. About an hour, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. it's the space time that when who's trying to reach students, they're going to be open to coming at a different time of day than faculty. To keep that in mind. Resource here, resources.org/speaker prep. Most of I'm not worried about, but practice training, go through it, customize it. Just I feel so I talk at that point so that you're really familiar with it. And so and any issues with training, let us know. Thank you. Most of you had trainings and problems. Like the PowerPoint not working and having meetings or or something like that. That's been a nightmare so far. But if you have hecklers, you have if you have weird questions that you haven't faced before, anything like that, any issues that you might just know because it's so as and some other companies. We want you to check in. I say here why that's okay, that's how often we check national allies. So about once a year would be the minimum. I'm busy, but the program is better if you're in touch. Responsibilities. Institutions. So you're not just going to get questions from people from the outside. One program involved. The ally ways that they have advice. About a student asking this really esoteric question you're talking about anything and anything. So realize that you're not only for students, but you're also there. So have unfortunate so God forbid a national ally or something or just being doing something that person ally database or take whatever steps we need to Neil wrote this slide not much and he is a lawyer. Basically, means how reliable for things that happen with our allies or to our allies or to people our allies are helping. So to help us limit that, here's some things. For any program high risk of liability, I think something bad happens. Shooting a car going to work every day. Risk of liability at almost every second. The power doing this, I know. Anyway, secondly, this is not legal. I'm not a lawyer, so I advice. Just take allies are not counselors, so one way you can really limit mental professionals, and you want to bring that into your profession. Student needs counseling, mental health issues, and and get them for police or don't try to be that person because something bad did happen. It connects to professional following your guidelines for bullying. Every institution, workplace, guidelines for just follow what they have. One of the policies are wrong. So obviously, for instance, not all walls are always just, but they're still walls. And not all rules are awesome, but they're still rules. You what to do in those situations. But you know that if you do something that violates our policy, violates all institutions like that, it can result in you getting kicked out of it's bad enough. So the national, that's why we have expectations and boundaries. Those are there to help people. Look, we're very clear with our allies and our facilitators. X, Y, and Z. Our founder will be removed. And material liabilities as well, so that you're giving people the most up to date. And if we need more information on our stuff. So next questions. We're going to use register as facilitators. Okay, some flash drive. Campus or your region. Start going here. And now we'll talk about questions. Okay. Does anybody have any? If not, I'm going to be upset. And it's going on.
Let's just see, like, I haven't done that. So, have you talked about some things?
Yeah.
Like, you're cheating, but
Some of you have to wait until then. I plan on doing kind of the same thing here. The UU training, or the training, and put it up. So
when
it's like next week.
Oh, okay.
Next Wednesday or something. If not, we can just like run to get so that's exactly what I'm here for.
You want on the training online?
Yeah, I don't care about, especially. Yeah, I think there's only too many people that go out and train other people.
Flash, does it have like the standard training?
Only proving the need. That's actually fixed. It comes with all the allied that is on there in multiple copies. You might want. The trainings are all your manual is on there. The facilitator training is on there. The proving needs packet and a bunch of other there. Oh, and the JPEG since
Cool.
I have a question. One of the slides when you're talking about, I think this was the liability slide. All being because this comes with some liability, but I'm curious, what would be an example of liability? Al understands and more or less abides by their institutional policies, organizational policies. They respect all as far as we are concerned, there's no rules that they've broken. What would be an example of a liability?
I weird things happen. That's chaos, basically. I can, I agree with you that whether the ability of something happening is like I'm just that is of the opinion that there is no such thing as never. Where liabilities that we do
Kind of like how insurance God in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
The Community Center, secular community center Sacramento has that in their fine.
yeah, it
it's
just
a legal
refers.
term.
So what?
Capital G.
So yeah, any more questions?
Our laptop here, should we do it online?
Yeah, if you want to.
Everything we just talked about, but like a few other people here, I haven't had the official training. We are presenting the prospective allies as to do as safe zone, have the safe zone. But what
Coming out.
we present the secular safe zone function to what vote do we have one account or do testimony so far?
Services or resources or anything like that. That's basically the long and short of it. Is that, you might actually, I think you might only sign up through paper forms for facilitators.
Yeah.
I love the thing, and I encourage people, especially who go back to found institutional programs, to become active in service and other things like that. But itself is what the secular students. And is being through is being when questions, right, resources, are the bully, and I have them every now and then the responses that
Especially many places you can go talk to someone about what you actually believe. Like that doesn't really exist. Like when I went to Agnes Scott before I went to UCF, was technically a school, but I mean not really. And it was very school, but it was that you said that you were non-religious. It was just like, so this is a place where you can go and find people, and also to just like openly talk. Like even me, like transitioning from faith to faith, it would have been useful to have some talk. So like I think this will be particularly useful because I know how it is. Like,
and I think already some people were interested. I just hadn't had time to follow up on it.
And I'm in my region, chant pockets where there's not going to be there for a while, but the secular safe zone, I think, has a reminder that but I'm like like, what are we thinking about as it being a case by case? You get so much emphasis on what this isn't and what the allies are not. I want to.
Here's the button.
Do you get lapel pins?
Yeah, we also have lapel pins, which I'll give to you for free because
I have. What is the institution? What are we putting in the institution name?
Texas Regional Campus Order.
Resource list when you guys have copies of a resource guide. Yes, you already have one. Okay. Ellen, do you have one? I can't remember what it is.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh wow.
It is Karen, right?
Yeah, it's here.
I'm like, I've been talking very tired. It's one of those days. Okay, and
No, you said saying it right. Yeah,
sorry.
right.
Yeah, I was just, that would be my luck.
Let's see.
Henderson or Henderson?
Henderson?
No, like north, south, west.
So,
That's such a.
and it's
like,
road, and it's sweet. I always forget.
W200
There you go.
What's a W200?
West.
That's our like address size.
Oh, wait.
Yep. 4322.
That's what it's
I live right down the street.
Yeah.
So, and it is Columbus, so. And anybody want a lapel? Okay. And do you guys want signs? Does anybody?
I'm basically all set. Like,
Awesome.
the no idea.
Today's date I can confirm.
Yes, I can do that on the fly.
New Android watches. I just can't
And you
do
want
this.
They have
The what?
Watch that will like you can have notifications go to your watch.
Yeah, just got, yeah.
It's not going to do
Oh.
it's just not made for your wrist. And
What are lady wrists?
you're just basically the way of it's normal on an just anybody with bigger wrist. It looks ridiculous on these.
Interesting.
I would probably.